everybody, and welcome to this fantastic show that we're going to be doing. I'm so honored to be hosting this show called The Quest with Carole, Lynn, Grant. And she and I are going to be doing this wonderful show that will allow her to talk all about her past, her experiences, and even look into the future. So, Carolyn Grant, welcome to the show. So great to be doing it with you.
I'm excited. It's such a wonderful time on the earth right now. The landscape is that it's a time for new beginnings for everybody. And so for us to do this show, I really wanted to do it because it's a new beginning for everybody to go on a quest. And that quest includes using all of your mind, all of your body, all of your spirit. So this show is meant to be an adventure, a journey, and a testimony of how exciting it is when you walk into the world of the supernatural. We're going to go into the supernatural and talk about the adventures. For me, my life was changed overnight in that I became, after a near death experience, the next morning I woke up completely psychic. And I didn't know that I was psychic. I had fortunately given birth to my twin daughters. They were healthy. Um, and I was alive and I was thankful. And so I brought my babies home and I was going to greet the rest of the family. And I was bringing my babies out, one in each arm, two girls, two beautiful, identical girls, Heather and Molly. And started to walk into the living room and I heard a voice saying, "Earthquake in Guatemala, 3 days, a lot of death and a lot of damage." I thought that's so strange. But I went and I handed my babies to their grandmother and everybody. Grandpa is so excited to see them. And I said out loud, "There's going to be an earthquake in Guatemala in 3 days, a lot of death, a lot of damage." And that earthquake hit. And so that began my journey into a world of intuition, and which is remarkable because your intuition has answers that are correct, that are right, and can lead you now into the adventure of life. And so we met years ago when I was doing my first radio show, Cosmic Dimensions, and you actually were the voice of the Caribbean. Tell me about that.
Well, it was so exciting to be out in Los Angeles in the early 80s and to be able to turn the radio on and to hear this lady being able to give these incredible psychic messages about what was going on in the world, but not just psychic messages. You were doing astrology, you were doing reading from the cards, and I was just blown away. And then years later, I did go out to move with my wife Lauren to the Western Caribbean. We lived on an island called Roatan, and because of my TV and radio background out in Los Angeles, I started doing radio and television on this island. I was the first TV and radio, English speaking TV and radio guy out there. They used to call me the Larry King of the Western Caribbean. But that's enough about me. I want to get back to you and all the things that when you were out in Los Angeles, you were so active in that really incredible world out there. Tell us about some of those experiences.
Yes, um, when when the Lord made me psychic overnight, I told him I was way too busy. I had two new babies. I had a 13-year-old and an 11-year-old. And I never stopped changing diapers and in feeding babies, and I ate Pop-Tarts for a year and a half. And so it was the busiest time in my life, and yet the Lord had a plan for me to be a voice, to help bring His voice to the earth, to encourage people again. You can begin again. This is a time of new beginning. And that talent that you've been given, that's your hallmark. That's going to make the way for you. And that's the way you're going to get wealthy and healthy and wise. So, yeah, the stories. Um, I was invited to California by the head of the Holistic Health Association, and she had me booked on TV and in colleges and in lodges and in light centers all over California. So I already had a huge audience. I think we will have a huge audience because we speak about the remarkable things that we can happen when we believe in ourselves, when we believe in the message, the messages that we're receiving now, and when we step out into this brave new world. So, probably the most exciting thing, I landed by the plane, and the police greeted me on one side and asked me to help them solve crimes of people that had been murdered. And the newspaper met me and asked me for the Nancy Drew story, like psychic works with police. And then I had a television show booked at night with the captain of the police. And so it was a psychic and the police. And we began this journey, and I began to read people on the air. And with doing that, the head of the radio station there called me and said, "Would you come in and do a show on Kaleidoscope?" And I went, "It was okay. It was an hour show, and that sounded like fun." So I went in and did that show, and they asked me to come back and do another show. So I went in the next day and did another hour show. And then they asked me to come back the next day. I went, okay. And after that show, the radio station owner gave me my own radio show. And that first show I called Cosmic Dimensions. And I had so much fun in being able to, it was unlimited. I could talk about anything I wanted to talk about. And so what I wanted to do is invite my audience in on the adventure. And I also wanted to show them that they're naturally intuitive. This isn't something special. It's a part of our brain that we've already been given that a lot of times people don't use it. They don't trust their hunches or they don't trust their impressions. And I'm here to say trust them and get excited. If you're getting excited listening to your show, that means your intuition is already been awakened. And so we have a state fair coming in California. In California, in Humboldt County, it was a big thing. And they had horse racing. So I told my audience, bet on the horses. Pick the color of the jockey, pick the number of the jockeys, pick a name that sounds good to you. And they won every race. And that was kind of like game on. It was the audience realized that they could use their intuition. And I guess that's the time you heard me, huh?
Absolutely. It was the middle 80s, I'd say 82, 83, 84, 85. When I was out there, I was a talent agent in the entertainment industry, actually represented 35 stand-up comedians at that time. And a lot of them were household words: Howie Mandel, the unknown comic, Paul Reiser, a lot of great guys. And but still, even though I was in that rough and tumble business, I still had my ear and interest in the kind of work that you were doing. So I'd like to ask you, Carole, it might have started with, being able, there's lots of different ways that people can increase their intuitive abilities. Some people can hear it, some people can see it. Can you explain a little bit about the different ways that people
Yeah.
can receive messages?
Well, first of all, hearing, that's what happened to me. I heard earthquake in Guatemala, a lot of days, a lot of damage. And then world events began to happen, and I would get the picture. So you can hear it, or you can see it, you can vision it, or you can feel it. And you may not have a picture, but you have this feeling something's going to happen. All these ways are viable. Um, and uh, people, what you're feeling now about making new beginning or launch out in a completely different area, or your hands are tingling, you're developing healing ability, listen to that. And as we do these different shows, I'm going to give different techniques, ways that you can awaken. But today is almost about brag time. So I I worked with police solving crimes, and it would be interesting because the police would call me in if somebody was missing. And this is the way I worked with them. I said, give me a picture of the person that's missing. And then I would read details from that picture and different situations or what they were wearing. And then the police would confirm what I was getting. And then I knew I could work the case. And then I would sit in the floor in a lotus position and go into a light trance and receive information about where the person was. That was exciting because we could find the missing people. But probably one of the most unusual shows I did was about an animal. I got a call from the Humane Society in LA, Florida, and the sheriff of police brought me down and we went in, and what they were having happen there, somebody was killing cats and skinning them and leaving them on the front lawn for children to find. It was so awful. Anyway, so they gave me a black and white, a picture of a black and white kitty cat. And I said, these cats didn't feel any pain. They were hit by a blunt instrument to the back of their head. They died immediately. And then they were skinned. And they said, that's right. And that's never been in the newspaper. So I said, okay, we can work this case. Now, I was working with a community in LA that really, it was like a small hometown. And people who really cared about their pets and their children. So I said, you become the eyes. You watch your lawn. And this is a gentleman with dark hair. He's driving a blue Ford.
Wow.
And when you see this gentleman driving this blue Ford, you go out on your lawn and you stand there and stare at him. And they all did that. And we never caught that person. I later read that in Hawaii there were killings going on. I think he just left the area. But we can be the eyes that see what we need to see. We can be the eyes in our community um, to help bring balance. Each one of us, if we reach out to our neighbors and then they reach out to their neighbors and their family, we can help create a happier, more alive place to live in right now. That's my quest.
That's spectacular, because it goes along with what we're doing right now. Uh, the world is awakening in ways that we've never seen before. And we're not going to go into too much detail today about how they're awakening, but they are participating in the world more than ever before. They're not just sitting back and waiting for other people to do this or to do that. They're taking an interest, they're taking actions, and the world is changing because of that. And so the world around you, the work that you're doing is definitely waking people up in maybe in unconventional ways, but ways that is so important for the future and the happiness of our universe. Tell us a little bit your opinion on that.
Well, you know, I have a large community. Um, I teach in light centers and colleges, and we do Zoom shows. But it's more about, I think, the people coming together, or maybe even giving themselves a second chance, because that's what's happening right now. The lay of the land, we have the planet Uranus, which is sudden happening, sudden wealth, sudden breakthrough in the sign of Taurus. And Taurus is about beauty and love and fashion. And so for everybody tonight, overnight, you can receive a gift of a whole bunch of money, or a family member can come and visit, or a neighbor knocks on your door and says, let's let's go do something. So this is an unexpected lay of the land. But the most powerful planet right now is in the sign of Capricorn for the first time in 245 years. Now, Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, which is our work ethic, our discipline, how we organize our life. And so I'm a Capricorn. What sign are you? Aries? Yeah.
Yes, April
Yeah.
12th.
So the Capricorns with the most powerful planet in your sign means people are to get more organized, more practical. Quit wasting your time. Quit sitting around. Go do something, or write your book, or tell your story, because people are alive right now. Their brains are, oh, are reaching out. I want to learn something new. And the new could be the new you, the new part of your brain. We have a left brain, which is creative, and a right brain, which is logical and disciplined and organized. So when you use your creative brain, I God gave me visions of how to do drawing. So I have artwork that have hung in museums, and I'm not an artist. Don't worry about what you don't have. Welcome what you can have.
You've, over the years and a lot of experience, you took what you heard or took what you sensed and you developed other ways, like astrology, like card reading, all different things to help complement the work that you're doing to clarify the messages you get. How does that all work together? Because I've had a reading with you. It was, whoa, you used all these different tools. It was like, wow.
There's four master keys of the universe. There's numerology, which is really easy to learn. There's tarot reading, there's astrology, and there's palmistry. And these are the four keys of the universe. So when I awakened psychically, I met the head of the Psychical Research Center in Hollywood, Florida. He was just opening up her location, and she asked me if I would come teach there. And so my twins were 2 years old, and I figured I could leave them by now and go teach classes. And so I taught. I used to read gemstones, and so TV would come in. Everybody else would be using cards, but I would be reading beautiful gems and rocks and stones. I read everything, you know. There's no limit. And so they would come showing on TV. I want to say to you right now, we have an opportunity, because of who I know and the circles that I'm in, that we can go global really, really quick. That the whole world could be receiving this show. But I wanted to keep it close too, so our neighbors say hi to each other and what's up, and and we have small circles. We're over COVID now. We can come out of the cave, and we can have little dinners together, or little forums, or little ways of learning. And the thing right now, because Jupiter is also in Taurus, Uranus in Taurus is one thing, but Jupiter, the best luck planet in Taurus, is awakening our intuition, is bringing us more than enough money that we need, bringing us opportunity, and people are excited to be with people again. That's why we want to begin this show today as a quest, as a journey, as a realization of your own dreams. Get moxie, get your moxie back. Or in my era, it was put your perky on. Get perky. you know, so maybe next week I'll wear a hat. Maybe next week I'll be whatever. Maybe even in your location, because we plan to go on location. We plan to be in the places where action is happening, or invite the world leaders in different fields of phenomena, but also movie stars, actors, singers. My very best friend is Steve Karras, and he has the largest photograph collection of Balanchine. He's a ballet dancer. So we're gonna talk about how did how did you take your talent and make the magic happen?
And so when you do give us the information, the science of what you've learned, and you're sharing it with us, we want to hear from everybody. We want to hear from people that heard your messages, and they can contact us. My email will be on the bottom, and we'll put your email on the bottom. They can contact us directly to let us know about some of the things that you said and how they came true and when they came true, because this is what's going to make this show so interesting. It's going to be an interactive show, and eventually we'll open it up to an audience that can come in and be a part of our live shows, not necessarily be on camera, but be in a room and ask us questions. Also, in the future, we're going to be holding classes. Carole and Grant will be holding classes locally here in South Florida, or if you are the kind of person that wants Carole to come wherever you are in the country and we could arrange things, that could happen. But also, we could do Zoom classes held by Carole. Anybody anywhere in the world can participate. So all these things we'll be doing these things in the future. Today's show was really to either introduce you to Carole or reintroduce you to Carole if you've known about her as long as I have. I think we talked about like 40 years now that I've been following you. So this is a wonderful opportunity for people to kind of get out of their intellect, get out of their fears, and start getting in touch with the quest for life. And I know that that's a big thing for you, Carole.
Well, the thing that the Lord said to me, I'm not finished with you. I'm getting older. I've been doing this work for over 50 years, and I was 32 when I gave birth to my twins. So you can, and God said, so what? It's a whole new beginning. If you've got a spirit that really enjoys living, your body may be getting older, but my mind is sharp. What a blessing. And those of you out there who want to awaken your mind, we invite you on this journey with us on the quest with
Absolutely. And
Carole and Grant.
spread the word. I mean, send it when you see this show, share it, subscribe to our channel. We'll eventually have a way for you to subscribe, because this is the very first show we're doing. And we hope to do a show weekly, and it's going to be very exciting. So, Carole, let us know anything else you'd like to before we finish up today, and then we'll invite everybody to look for the show and to join us in following weeks.
I would say get out of the house, get excited about now. Everybody's getting a second chance. How fortunate is that? We get a second chance to start all over. So let the games begin. And come and see and listen to us on The Quest with Carole and
Great. Wonderful. What a great first show. Thank you, Carole, for being on the show. And it's, you know, this is wonderful working together with you. My name is Bruce Starr, and together with Carole and Grant, we'll be bringing you wonderful shows each and every week. If you want to email us, and you'll see the email across the bottom, with your questions, things you want us to answer for you, things you want us to investigate for you. This is a show where you are very, very much a part of it. And this is a very exciting thing to be doing. So, Carole, thank you for being with us and for being a part of this wonderful show. And we will see you all again very soon. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.